if you want. It don't
in a
matter.
row. Yeah, yeah. And
I'll just be in the background.
yeah, and I haven't rode a fair ride since I was maybe 22.
In a minute.
And I've grown up because I looked at Brianna mid backflip and I said, I might puke on you. I may vomit. And it just started, like right off the rip. And then she dropped her phone. She goes, man. And I'm like,
I can't think right now, lady.
I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? I'm barely holding on.
Dude, yo, I went on my honeymoon. On my honeymoon. What up, D? She said, what's up, twats? On my honeymoon, we went to, what is it called? It's a
Silverwood.
No, we were in Disney World, bro.
You couldn't remember what Disney World is called?
No, the ride at Disney World. It was something Everest. D, you've
Mount
been
Everest?
Jesus Christ.
No, it is Mount Everest, but the ride's something Everest. Expedition Everest. Expedition Everest, I think it is. Bro, only thing I had in my stomach before I went on that ride, it's like 8 a.m, dog. Like, you get to those parks early, you know? And that was it wasn't my honeymoon. It was the day after I proposed. So I bought a whole big thing of Jose Cuervo or something.
Oh, God.
And like a big one. And I had like 3 shots of that and like a banana, dog. And I got off of that in Disney World. Rich family, you got Wetz in Disney World, like rich families, like they're just trying to have a expensive whatever. This is like a once in a lifetime thing for me. I get off that. There's no bathroom, there's no garbage, and I'm just like, yes, in Animal Kingdom, yes. And I just start throwing up behind these bushes, and Sid like walked away from me, dog. And like, but the ride goes up, and then you're going backwards, and I'm like, I was sitting there, and Sid was like, I could just look at you and tell you're about to throw up. You were white as a ghost. And I got off, and I'm just chucking in these bushes at Disney World, like just out of place, man.
I'm a grown ass man. You don't put liquor in my belly and then put me on a fair ride. Like, I'm built for like going to war and to die, not backflips. Not built for backflips. Especially not 12 in a row.
That's a clean hat, Heff.
Thank you.
Sir.
Pretty simple.
I'm glad you're still repping them, man. I know it's been a tough couple.
Hey, we're back on a winning streak. It's all right. What'd
you think of that? What'd you think of that game?
A lot to be desired if it was anywhere besides Missoula. The Griz problem is they can't put teams away. They get chances down the stretch to go up 2 scores late in the game, and they don't have that closing mentality. And next week we play on the road, top 20 team. It's our first real challenge, so we'll see.
Yeah,
also a lot of UC Davis.
Oh, fuck.
But they're all-American running back. They're only like really great players allegedly out, so we'll see.
Delia says, no joke, I was at SeaWorld when that whale murked that girl.
Dude, I think she was. Like, legitimately.
Dude, I was at the fair when the slingshot broke.
No, you weren't.
What was that?
It was. Me and my dad were at the fair. And that's why, like, people try, like, this week, dude, they tried to get me on speed, and I was like, I'm not going.
Dude, he was pissed.
I was like, I'm not going. Well, and Brianna is, like, very... And I'm just like, I will punch you in public. No. But I was like, I'm not going. I was like, I've seen these things break. There was a video, last summer of that, like, you know, the thing that falls, just not catching it.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Oh, Jesus.
Die. No, break your leg. I wish you die.
Dude, I trip out on things like that because it's real. You could be the one to not come back off the ride, dog. That could be you.
I don't do rides. I couldn't tell you last time, dude. I don't do roller coasters. I don't do none of that shit.
Dude.
Yeah, I don't go upside down too often.
It scares me.
That's not a risk taker.
But why?
No, dude.
It's just like, because for me, I'm like Heff. I don't do like I used to,
Mhm.
and then one time at the fair, I always got sick, and then I started getting scared of heights, and
Yeah.
like some of those rides, man, I'm like, what if it just broke? Like it's a machine with screws. Like what if I'm just like, and the dudes who are running them, they don't know what's really going on, bro. Dude. They don't know what's going. Like they wouldn't know if this thing. They're just pressing the button, getting paid to stand there, man. Like,
Bro, I will say, when we were on the zipper, Brianna, her little jewel fell out and flew out of the cage.
Snatch.
The guy caught it.
no,
Oh,
The
shit.
conductor caught it, and we get out, and we were like looking for it. He goes, "You looking for this little vape thing?" And he like had it, and he goes, "I saw it fell out. I caught it." I said, "What?" I was like, "I never trusted you guys. I might get on a new route today." Like that's incredible. Yeah.
that is crazy.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, but I don't know how we got sidetracked off that. We were asking Heff about the Griz. We got who coming up? UC who?
UC Davis.
UC who?
That's right.
UC
they're-
who?
they're top 20 though. We're on the road.
That's tough.
We'll see what we're made of. I will say though, when we lost we beat Idaho State last weekend, 28-20. Couldn't quite put them away late. We had an opportunity to go up 2 scores, but week before, you guys remember last week that rant we went on, lost to Northern Arizona. They went on the road and played a top 5 school and had a chance to win at the end, lost by 1 point. So
Who was that?
that was Sac State. They took Sac State down to the wire, 1 point game. So, I mean, Northern Colorado, probably the second worst team in the conference, had Weber State down 3 touchdowns.
Okay, so it's just not the Griz, is what you're saying. It's not just the Griz.
There's 2 tiers. There's, unfortunately, the neighbors.
Yeah,
There's Idaho, and there's everybody else, and it's just a slugfest.
yeah.
Every 3
Sacramento
to
State's the
12.
team that has the logo that looks like it would be a bank logo, right? The green.
Which one? Sacramento State? Yeah, it's the giant
Yeah,
S.
that looks
Green
like a
S.
bank logo to
Like,
me.
like a Stockman Bank logo.
They're good, though. They're legit. They beat a Power 5 school. They beat Stanford this year already.
Did they really?
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they did. And
That's
it's funny because Sacramento State's coach last year is now the coach at Stanford, so he got to go up there and get paid to get beat by his old team.
Yeah.
Good, as he should.
Hey,
But yeah, the conference is wild this year, man. The Big Sky's nuts.
anything can happen then. I mean, you're a little more in that scene than me for sure. And so what I'm hearing, still got a chance.
Hey, I told you it's Montana State, Idaho, and everyone else. We got both of them on the schedule this year. We control our own destiny.
And we can
still.
get hot. And like you can get
That's
hot and you
right.
can start playing your best ball down the road. That's all we want.
That's right.
That's all we want, man. I just like to see him air it out a little bit. You know, I'm an air raid kind of guy.
Hey, the running quarterback, Clifton McDowell, played all but 4 or 5 snaps last week, and you got to throw the ball a little, but it's a lot more of RPO, run pass option, and I feel like that's the most efficient we've been moving the ball all year, most consistent.
Prime to U of M 2025.
Do what?
What'd you say?
We got to pay Prime, dude. Get him
Oh,
in.
Prime to you, man.
Could you imagine?
Dude, we talked about it last week. The Griz coach makes $200,000. Coach Prime's making like $8 million.
But you could pay him if you got Prime to U of M. You'd sell out.
Yeah,
You'd sell out
You
for
would.
sure.
You
You
would.
could charge whatever you wanted. You'd sell out.
Hey. But I had a question, and I'm curious if you'd know a little bit more. Matt, I'm interested in what you think. Like, what do you think the best route is here for football? You know, like, would you want to see the Griz master that run option? And, you know, just get gritty with, or what's the word? Gritty. Yeah, getting gritty. Run option or whatever it is. And master that? Or do you want them to keep mixing it up with the 2 quarterbacks? Like, that's what I was getting at. Sorry.
Sam Vidlak, he was originally committed. He's the other quarterback. He was originally committed to the Griz out of high school. Decommits, goes to Oregon State, Power 5. Didn't play there, transfers down to Boise State, doesn't play there, comes here. So obviously there's some sort of issue if can't land on a roster. He comes here. I thought he was going to be pretty solid, and he doesn't look ready. Clifton McDowell, he's a 6-year senior. He started at the FBS level as well. He went to JUCO. He transferred back to the FCS and back up here. He's got a little bit more game experience. I mean, our biggest issue is the offensive line. We had all 5 starters coming back. It was supposed to be the strength of this team, and it looks like it's our biggest weakness right now. And I don't think having 2 quarterbacks interchanged is helping anything. So if mastering the RPO offense, if that's what they got to do to be effective, then I'd be for it. They need to find consistency. Their best drive of the year was Idaho State. They go down, 7-minute drive, touchdown. And then after that, they stalled out. And it's been like that all year. They got to find an identity. That's the problem. There's no identity on the team.
I took the long route in asking that question, but that's exactly what I was curious of. Because, I mean, it's boring. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it's boring, but winning ball games is winning ball games at the end of the day, you know. And it just seems like they're kind of, I don't know if they're still trying to make a decision or what. But I mean, like, we'll take anything. We just want dubs, man.
I think the coach's perspective is we've had 5 starting quarterbacks in 5 seasons, so it's been a new guy every single year. McDowell's a senior. He's clearly more capable of handling the offense, but Vidlak's only a sophomore, and he's a Power 5 guy, so I'm thinking they want to get him some reps, get him comfortable in the offense.
Yep.
Because he's going to be the guy going forward, but I don't know if he's the answer right now.
Yep.
So they're like mixing it up, like they're playing 2 quarterbacks.
It's weird how they do it. Like the first game, one quarterback got the first half, the other quarterback got the second half. The second game, one quarterback got the whole game. The third game, it was the other quarterback. And
that's so weird. That's so weird.
Bobby was even asked about it last week, and he's like, "It's just a feel for what the defense has given us."
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
it doesn't matter what.
It's creative. I mean, if he's giving an answer like that, they're trying something and just hoping it works.
Creative, but
it has to work, right? It has to work. Like,
I think the problem would be like, what's your identity?
Right,
like,
that's what it is.
You coach, Jake, like like if you put and these are kids, like ultimately we're kids, like 26 years old, and you ask a 60-year-old, what are we? Kids.
Yeah, we're kids for sure. They're still figuring it out.
Like if you feel like you're competing, which inevitably, no matter what the coach says, he can give you all the reassurance in the world. If you're sharing time with another quarterback, which is like uncommon, like I don't know. Like I can't name another team that does it. You guys would be probably more equipped to name a team if they exist, but like you're probably not getting the best out of either quarterback if they're like you have to feel like you're on the chopping block. Like you're like, oh, I played the whole first half. Maybe I caught a rhythm, and like
that's exactly it. How are you gonna catch a rhythm out of that, man? Like, it's just like basketball. Like, the more snaps you get back there, the more you're gonna understand what you're going against and what's coming at you. You're able to get reads and like even if it's in a game or practice, like those first team reps are more than the second string always. Yeah. Like even in ball, like our second string didn't get as much as our first string reps. But like it's the reads. They're getting reads more if it's in practice or in a game. Like as a young quarterback, like they're still young. They're younger than us and we're young. And how can you get in a rhythm? Like I would assume it's a little harder to like feel comfortable with the defense in front of you because if you're splitting, you're getting 50% of the looks, and that's less comfort. You know what I mean? Yeah. And with the teammates around you as well. Like that's not just with the individual. That goes to the receivers, the running back, especially in an option, to the linemen. Like, 'cause it's all about tendencies. The more you know your dudes, I feel like the better you're gonna be. You know what I mean?
Well, like the pressure of it. Like this kid's thinking like if like for example you said one played one half, the other played the second half. It's like I'm sure on that kid's mind was like, if I play so good this half, he can't take me out. And like you can't be your best if that's on your mind. Like you have to be free. Like you can't worry about it.
Yeah, you gotta
like,
be free.
That's damning. Like, I would bet they'd have been a better team had he just been like, listen, you're our starter. We're going with you. You're our backup. If you earn it in practice and when you get the reps, we'll switch. But like for now, like I'm trusting this guy. He doesn't have to worry about it. There will be a conversation, a process before he ever gets taken out of the starter position, and just like eliminate that extra thought. Because as you guys know, sports, it's more mental than physical, no matter what you play.
Yep.
Like it's that's damning. You can't give a kid more to think about than what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it could even be a situational thing. Like, but you got to be picky about it. Like Taysom Hill and Drew Brees back like a couple years ago.
They
Like
do it well, though.
they do it well, but like it has to work. You know?
Yeah.
How's the D looking though, Heff? How's the D looking? Is D I feel like yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's gotten a lot better.
Pause. How's the defense looking, Heff?
The defense, it's a bend don't break defense. They've definitely had their moments and they've made some big plays. I think they lead all of Division I football as a unit in interceptions. They have 9 through 4 games.
Okay.
I think the flip to that is because our secondary isn't the biggest, it's not the fastest, so teams like to air it out against us. So you're going to get your opportunities. And they've given up a lot of big plays, but like I said, it's bend but don't break. But I was looking the defensive line. I think we have 6 sacks this year, and we have 1 sack in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of room to improve, but our defense is it's coming around. It makes plays when it needs to, unlike the offense.
Yeah. And that's always been the backbone, the defense.
Coach Montana Grizzlies.
Heff, do you feel like you could coach?
No, here's what I think. Let me say why I say that. Because I think Heff is smart enough to delegate well. I think Heff could interview coaches and be like, I like this offensive line coach. I like this DB coach. And he could put people in positions to make the team great. Like, to me, a head coach is a CEO. And if you know anything about business, CEOs don't do shit.
Hey.
Their specialty is knowing who does shit well, really well, so they don't have to.
He's watching enough
CEOs
football.
don't
Go ahead.
work 50 hours a week. They're not. They work 15 because they're like, oh, well, you're really good at payroll. You do payroll. I'm not doing it.
What up, Hunt?
Boring.
That's fair.
Hey.
Yeah.
And you've watched enough football. I feel like you know what to run against what. Whatever coverage is there, I feel like you have an idea.
I'll say I've never played. I've never played competitive football outside of grade school.
That's competitive.
But that shit don't count.
Special. We're buying pads. We're doing head-to-head hitting drills. Me and Heff.
I'll just say I've never.
And Jake.
Say less. Let's get some Oklahoma drills going.
Oh.
Listen, we should. I'll play up for Thanksgiving.
Hunt says I'd work Heff in walk routes. Oh my god! The only thing.
Oh, dude, I'm clamping your ass up.
Hunt, I better not find that picture of the whole line blocking. You're turned the other way while your guy is about to destroy Jordan Wilkins. Don't make me find that video, dog. I will find that and I will expose you.
Hunt, we'll do it in November when we see each other next month.
We'll do it in November. We'll post it on the pod.
1 month from today.
Yeah.
1 month from today. We'll post it on the pod.
Hunt doesn't want it. He won't show up.
Find it. I was pulling.
Okay, whatever, man. But in all seriousness, that Griz defense is the backbone, typically.
It always has been. Yeah.
But I want to see this offense. It's been a couple years where I feel like we've been kind of robbed of just a fiery offense. You know what I mean? It's kind of been shaky the whole time.
Man, it's been 3 years since we've had a starting quarterback go the whole year. And this year it doesn't change since we're going 2 quarterbacks. So we're going on 3, 4, 5 years without a quarterback being healthy all year. I think the last guy to do it was Dalton Sneed. Yeah, that was a couple
Bro.
years ago. It just
Who was the quarterback with Trayvon Van?
that was Jordan Johnson. Or no, Trayvon Van was after Jordan
Trayvon
Johnson.
Van.
Oh, I don't even know off the
Juice?
top of my head. Yeah, dude, that guy was special.
Dude, he was tough. And he'd be doing. We should try and get him on the pod, dog. We
Dude,
should
I
try
could
and
reach
get-
out.
Hey.
I'll reach out.
Hey, but I remember him. He was tough. And didn't they have Trumaine and all of them?
Yeah.
Take
dude,
me
oh,
back.
yeah.
Take me back.
No, Tremaine
Go
was before Trayvon because Tremaine Johnson, I remember, he was here Bobby's first time. And he had that play against Appalachian State. It was that night game, Friday night, to go to the national championship. App State's got it at the goal line, one last
Tremaine?
play. And they throw it at Tremaine Johnson. To go to the national championship, they threw it to Tremaine, and Tremaine got in there and broke it up and sent the Griz.
NDSU just obliterated us.
Oh.
This was before the NDSU dynasty. This was before their dynasty.
But isn't that sad though? Isn't that sad? It didn't matter how good we were. We had some teams. Then you go to NDSU during that run. It was
No, our run of dominance was right before the NDSU dynasty. Bobby left the first time right when NDSU started winning, because NDSU was D2 for the longest time, and they finally moved up. And then as soon as Bobby moved on, Bobby's last year I think was 09, and I think NDSU's first championship was 10 or 11.
so because I
But
remember
I mean, Bobby took us to 3 championships and didn't win a single one.
But I remember we went to that spring game. I think it was in 2010, 2011, and Trumaine, that was the year he was going into the draft. I think.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
But I remember watching like Trayvon Van. I forget who else was on that squad.
Yeah,
bro.
Trayvon was 2014. I'm pulling it up right now.
So he was a flu
But-
grad guy.
Dude, flu grad, I understand the circumstance, but he really got the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
You like him?
Brady Gustafson. That's who
Brady
it was.
Gustafson. No shot.
No, that was his sophomore year. So that
Yeah, I
was
was gonna say,
that
he was about-
the
he
year
was on-
before
he was
Stitt, so that
3
was Delaney. The Delaney guy.
Green hat
Jordan
Delaney.
Johnson.
right?
Yeah, it was Jordan Johnson. Yeah, it was Delaney took over. Grad.
Go ahead.
What are hiring coaches like in the FCS? Like, do coaches kind of bounce around FCS teams, or is it like pretty all across the board, like NFL, FBS, FCS? Because like a lot of FCS coaches, I feel like I am just not familiar with, and I'm not like super deep into football, so that could be it.
Yeah.
But like, where do most of them come from? Do they kind of bounce around the FCS or?
Yeah, a lot of these guys are dudes who have been in the program. The FCS level, it's all about who you know and who you have connections to. Like all of Bobby's staffs are either his brother played in the NFL and was an NFL coach for a while, and so he's got dudes from his brother's coaching tree. He's got dudes that played for him the first time around. He's got to have a connection. So like if his brother has a guy who knows a guy, then Bobby's got that middleman to talk to kind of get a scouting report on these guys. It's the same thing with how he brings in transfers. He won't go recruit these guys unless he knows somebody who knows the player. But at the FCS level, I've seen it with the Griz. If you're an assistant coach and you get fired, you're probably not coaching football unless it's a high school gig or something. But I mean, head coaches, it's easier to bounce around at lower divisions, or you've made those connections yourself. But FCS assistants, it's hard for them to get back on their feet.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And I bet you some dudes might get a shot in there just because of a lack of resources at times. Like they might get just the golden opportunity and maybe they're just not ready for it. I don't know. I could see that because if dudes are bouncing out. So very rarely we see dudes move up out of that, and go to the league. Because I mean, shoot, the league's the same way. Like, I think it's all the same way. It's all about who you know, man. Like even like NAI, level. It's like people are gonna hire people, obviously people they know, but like if you know the right guy, he can get you in a good situation, you know.
Yeah.
If you can have people to vouch for you, that's what it's about.
I mean, that's the reason the Griz are in the position they are, because it's Bobby's, all his buddies trying to retire here.
Yeah.
Everybody he's hired has been old coaches.
So who they got? They got Sac State coming up, you said? No. We're
Sac
going to
November
Sac. We're
4th,
going to
that's our
Sac State.
game.
They're going to Portland State.
So they got next week, this coming weekend, they go at UC Davis. After UC Davis, they go play at Idaho. They're ranked number 3 right now. So they go play at number 3 Idaho. That's a
the
nationally
Vandals
broadcast in the Kibby Dome on ESPN2 at 8:30 at night.
Can we get a boo for the Vandals? Boo.
Yeah. Moscow.
But it does line up nicely because we played Idaho State, one of the bottom tier teams this week, or in the conference, and then we go play a top 25 school. And then Idaho, that's going to be the toughest bounce back, going and playing number 20 on the road, and then going and play number 3 on the road in back-to-back weeks. But then you got a bye week. Then you have Northern Colorado at home, who's 0-5. Then the next week is Sac State at home, a revenge game. And then the week after that, you got Portland State on the road, and then you got the neighbors in Missoula.
Boo, the Cats, boo.
So outside of that Idaho game, they do either come off a bye or a lesser opponent before those tougher matchups.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it does line up nice.
Hopefully, and some teams suffer from this, man. Some teams suffer from this. Hopefully the Griz don't have a case of we play down to our competition and we play up to our competition, because that's a dangerous spot to be in. If you're always playing down and then playing up, when you're playing up, I feel like you're going to get the short end of the stick more often than not, because you don't know how to keep the foot to the throat, I should say, in those moments of a game, know when to make those big plays. But who am I? I mean, I don't know. We want the Griz to win. We're just saying we've watched a lot of sports, been around sports for a long time. So, like, maybe we see something, I don't know. We'll see.
I want to make one more comment before we move on.
Yep.
So the last couple of years, the biggest problem outside of the Washington game is the Griz just scheduled the easiest schedule they can. And I was looking forward to next year. They play 12 games next year, which never happens at the FCS level. They always play 11 because the playoffs are 4 or 5 games depending on where you're ranked. But we play 12 games next year, 4 non-conference, and we're all finally, it's an all FCS. We're playing all D1 schools. We go play at North Dakota, who's currently ranked 15th in the country. We have Western Carolina coming to town, who's ranked 7th in the country. Missouri State, who's another Missouri Valley team, which is like the SEC of the FCS, essentially. And then Morehead State, they're a bottom dweller, but it's still D1.
Yep.
So next year it's going to be a tough slate of games. But it's nice to see that they're growing a pair and playing a tougher schedule.
And we should have some returning quarterbacks.
You would hope.
We would hope.
Unless the coaching staff is out and then these kids transfer out.
Speaking of, go ahead.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
No, you never know. We'll see.
You never know. But speaking of, you would hope this Golden State Warriors team will make the playoffs. You would hope.
4 seed.
4 seed? You think the Warriors are a 4 seed? How? So curious. Because I have a picture in my head. I'm curious how you think about it. I don't think the lineup's as bad as people make it look. I think Steph and Chris Paul can be perfect for each other. How do you see this working out? Like, what's your vision?
So it sounds like, I don't know that they've decided who's going to start. If it was me.
You start Chris, right? You start Chris Paul, right?
No. If it's me, I bring Chris Paul in with Draymond and the second unit. But like you have to manage personalities too. Like if Chris Paul is just gonna be a problem in that sense, and not even a problem in like James Harden, like just a brat. But just like if that's gonna mess with him, then you have to adjust. But in an ideal world, I'm bringing in Chris Paul. They said that Clay's gonna guard the power forward. I'm moving Clay to the shooting small forward. Like there's so many things you can do with
What's
it.
the
Like,
lineup with him coming off the bench being 6-man? Like, what's the lineup?
I think you bring in the whole bench. Kuminga, I'd put Draymond at the 5, and then I would just put him. I'm trying to think of who.
No, who's the starting lineup? Who's the starting lineup?
You did just get Rudy Gay
I keep
too.
the same starting lineup. I keep Looney, Draymond, Clay, Steph, honestly,
Wiggins.
I might bring Wiggins off the bench. Like I haven't thought about it too much, but there's so many things I think it's dependent on personalities. Like when you have 6 starters,
I could see that. I could see that kind of bouncing around throughout the season. But that kind of goes to our Griz conversation too. Like maybe I'll mess with some guys because of the reps. But like when my head, I think you could even go Clay. No, I mean you go Chris Paul, Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond, or you go Draymond, Looney, and Wiggins comes off the bench sometimes.
Well, that's probably the way it'll go because I don't think Wiggins will have a problem with it. It's like Wiggins, go in with the second unit and you do whatever you want. Like go do what you do. Like run the offense through Wiggins because like like if you watch him shoot, they're all contested shots, like mid-range shots. Like he likes that. If you give him a one-on-one, he's probably shooting it. And I think you could work him into the system with the second unit. I'm like drawing a blank on who our second unit is. Thank goodness we got rid of.
Pick up Rudy Gay. That was a nice little pickup.
Yeah,
Kuminga, Rudy Gay. Is DiVincenzo still there? He's huge.
I don't know.
Moody, Sarge. You guys got Sarge.
Yeah, you got Sarge. That's a huge pickup. I think Sarge plays huge with you guys. Like plugs in perfectly.
Like our second unit, if you put it together right, could be like unfortunate for the rest of the league. Like that's where we've strived. Like that every year we've won a ring, our second unit has like completely bought in. Like they come in and they don't try and be Steph Curry. They don't try and be like, that's why I'm glad we moved Poole. Because as much as he can win us games, he can lose us games just as fast.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. Like, for sure. He was trying to, you can't really knock the hustle. Like, he was trying to get his, because he had the year before, he was amazing. Like, then those playoff, that ring run you guys just went on in what, 2022, 2023? Or 2021, 2022. He was hooping. Was hooping. You can't blame him. So I think he's going to pop off this year. I would assume he would pop off this year. But it's going to be interesting. I like Chris Paul on that lineup, dog. I really do. I think you can put
strong assumption that he's healthy, though.
And that's the thing is that's what I would pitch to Chris Paul is I'd be like, listen, I don't care what you think. You have to, like, let's look at this objectively. How often have you gone through the playoffs healthy?
Bro, I would love to see a stat on that.
We give you 20 minutes a game.
And that's not disrespect to him. It's realistic. Yeah. It's like you get hurt a lot.
We'll put in Wiggins and Draymond with you. You'll get a young Kuminga. We'll give you Saric, like Corey Joseph, if you need him at like shooting guard or like a tandem. Like Gary Payton the second. Like you could do so much. Like we have every.
I forgot he's there again.
It's just it's all up to Steve Kerr. Like you have to let these guys buy in, and like Chris Paul is the biggest hurdle because it's like he doesn't want to come off the bench. But if you can show him he can still be Chris Paul off the bench with 20 minutes a game and be like, we need you in the playoffs. In the playoffs, we'll play you 30 minutes in the conference finals, in the finals, but we need to see you get there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not going to do us any good if you get hurt in the first round. And now all this, like.
And I think on that team, his usage goes way down for the good. Like he's still Chris Paul is the kind of player he's always going to be productive on the court, especially offensively. He's going to get people to the spots. He's going to get it to them in their spot. He can hit that midi. He can hit an open three. Yeah. But, like, usage-wise, he has Steph. He has Draymond. Draymond's the best. Him and Chris Paul together, two of the best playmakers in the league. That's cool. Dude, Steph, he's obviously a score-first point guard because he's just Steph, you know, but, like, they don't need the ball in Chris Paul's hands all the time, like maybe in Phoenix or maybe like in the places he was before.
Well, that's where offense is. It should, like, if it's in anyone's hands for more than 5 dribbles, it better be Steph. But now we have Chris Paul, which is like our death lineup. My pitch to him would be, listen, Chris, you'll come off the bench, but do you think you're not in the last 5 minutes of the game?
For
like
real.
Our death lineup is you, Steph, Clay, Draymond, or you, Steph, Clay, Wiggins, and Draymond.
Yeah.
Like
the league now, you don't need a big guy. Like Draymond guards 1 through 5. And like the league now, like that's a death lineup.
Yeah.
For the most part.
And
like
Chris, you'll
that's
have
scary.
A different look at the court than you've ever had. Like you watch I hate when people say Steph Curry isn't guarded differently. I'm like, look at defenses. It's not just the guy guarding him. I know when he catches it on the wing, there's one guy in front of him. But look at how deep that furthest pass is. That pass 3 passes away in the corner. His 1 foot is out on the opposite side of the key.
Yeah.
The guy 1 pass away in the corner is on the block. Like that. Like it's just like, Chris, you could have a higher average of points in 20 minutes than you've had since you were 23. Like just
he's gonna be taken. He's gonna shoot a higher clip than Jordan Poole. He's going to be taking some of DiVincenzo's shots. He'll be taking some of those other dudes' shots. But, like, maybe he might get them more shots just because of how good of a playmaker he is.
Exactly.
Like, it's crazy.
And you hit 2, now they have to guard you, and you get 5 assists to Curry real quick.
I heard some of these dudes, like, when I'm at work, I sit there and I watch a lot of clips of like these broadcasters talking ball, and you know we all have our like biases and like we have our heads turned to certain things and for certain reasons or certain people, you know, like we favor this person, so we're gonna like the Jordan, like for example, there's Jordan guys, there's LeBron guys. It could be an even 50-50 split, but people are just like so one way. Anyways, they're saying people are talking like the Suns don't have a shot to make the finals. The Warriors don't have a shot to make the finals. People are saying the Nuggets don't have a shot. Like, and they're saying like the Bucks,
saying that.
Like Nick Wright, those kinds of guys. Those kinds of guys. Bro, he was saying something about the Suns, just talking like we ain't good. We don't have depth. Bro, we got Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Jusuf Nurkic, and who we gonna plug in along the way? We'll probably put Yuta Watanabe in there. Yeah. You know?
Did you see what he said the other day?
But hold on, listen real quick. Pause that. We have Grayson Allen coming off the bench, Bol coming off the bench, Drew Eubanks at the 5, Eric Gordon to hit threes, Damian Lee, like. We got Josh Okogie, and people didn't watch the Suns. They didn't watch. No one watched the Suns, so they didn't see some of these guys play. Bro, I'm telling you, Ish Wainwright, he didn't play too much. I don't know why I said his name. No disrespect, he's in the league for a reason, but like he didn't play too much.
For us?
No, for me. Ish Wainwright. I mean, he'd come in every now and then, but like. We're deeper than people realize. And I felt like that trade, we got the Grayson Allen and we got the Jusuf Nurkic and then we got some other dudes. For those 4 guys alone was DeAndre Ayton's contract.
Yeah.
And we got, bro, Grayson Allen. Like, come on, you need a guy like that to win a chip, bro. Like, you need someone like that. People hate him, but he's a pest. He can hit, he can score. But he's also going to be all over the place defensively, and you need someone who gets a little dirty. He's a Duke guy. He's a Duke guy. We all hate Duke guys for the most part,
Not all of us.
except for Matt. He's a Duke guy, but
Hey,
those
I like Duke a little bit.
hey, those Duke dudes, they're low. They get a little gritty or
Listen,
low.
here's my philosophy. You got to spend money to make money. I'll pay some fines.
Bro,
If it's going to give me that finals bonus,
it's gonna give me that ring. But listen to this: we're paying Bradley Beal 46 mil, Booker 36 mil, Durant 47 mil. The next closest salary is Yusuf Nurkic at 16 mil, and everyone else is 2 and 1 a year.
Dude, go look at Golden State. I was just looking at it. Steph alone is making 51.
Could you imagine 51 a
Steph's
year?
making 52. Draymond's making 22. Chris Paul's making 31. Clay's making 43. And Wiggs is making 24.
Could you imagine
That's a
making
lot.
that much money?
yeah.
Still not as much as Jaylen Brown somehow.
Hey, Jaylen Brown's
That
making
contract-
31 a year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Jaylen Brown?
He's making 31 a year, is what ESPN says.
Oh, that I don't think that his contract kicks in until next year.
Oh, okay. Drew Holiday's making 36.
5 years, $304 million.
That's 60 mil a year. God.
You know why I don't think the Celtics have a chance? I think they could get there. You know why I don't think they have a chance of winning it against anyone out of the West that would get there?
They traded the glue guys.
The glue guys, and like everyone in the world knows who the guy is on the Celtics except Jaylen Brown. Like I'm telling you, like everyone in the world is like, we know who the Celtics are gonna pay except Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has no idea. Like,
Hey, they
it's
did get Drew Holiday, though, who's way better than Marcus Smart.
great pickup. Yeah, no, they got
No,
better.
Drew Holiday's that guy. I would have loved to have him on the Suns. I would love to have Drew Holiday on the Suns, man. Like, do you know who
They just
I was
don't have
thinking the Suns need to get back? Fucking Ricky Rubio. Do you remember how good he was playing with us when we went on that 8-0 bubble run? Like, Ricky Rubio that whole season going crazy. But
Is he
yes,
still in Minnesota?
he's still in
No,
Minnesota.
he's in Cleveland.
He's
No,
in Cleveland. Yeah,
Cleveland.
he's in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I'm looking real quick. Let me look at something. Oh, I guess the Rockets got Van Vliet's contract, huh?
Dude, I was looking. We have signed some nice veteran players to come complement the young guys. Like, we just went and got Reggie Bullock, and that doesn't seem like a lot, but for a team who had no culture and no identity last year, that's a great pickup. Dude, he's a career 43% three-point shooter. He's a career 43% three-point shooter, and that's
I
the one
hate
thing we needed.
Reggie Bullock. It's Bullock.
Dude, we
Hold on,
needed
hold on,
some
what Jordan
veteran
Hunt say?
presence, and he-
LeBron, AD, AR-15, Austin Reeves, Christian Wood, and D'Lo, and Rui, Hunt. This is exactly. Mark this pod, Hunt. This is exactly what's gonna happen to the Lakers. This is exactly what's gonna happen. You're gonna start like 3-10, and then everything's gonna start falling apart. AD's gonna sprain his ankle. He's gonna be out for 5 to 6 weeks. All right. LeBron's gonna pull his groin around Christmas break. And then at that part, it's like, okay, we're a bubble team. Christian Wood's gonna be a flop. Okay.
Christian Wood sucks.
Hunt, you're gonna make the playoffs, but it's gonna be the same thing over again, man. And I'll say this: I hope Anthony Davis is healthy. I've never hated on Anthony Davis, but it's like the guy cannot get healthy, man. Like it's like every time he hits the ground, he's holding something. You'll beat the Suns, Hunt. How?
Did you see what AD said yesterday?
How are you beating the Suns?
Monday. Said he's going to try and play all 82 games this year.
I love it. I hope he does. I hope he does. But I don't think he's gonna maybe. I'd give him 60. If he plays 60 games, it's a win of a year.
I hope he
That's
doesn't,
fair.
because he might end his career if he tries. He'll be 40 games in and his ankle will just shatter. Like it's
And it's no
like
joke. Like, if you get hurt, man, like, you get hurt. It's nothing you can control. It's like, it's just like, it's kind of crazy. It's like Chris Paul in the playoffs. The dude, like, he's going to get hurt. And it's like nothing against Chris Paul, but like, it was like almost like clockwork. Every crucial game, Chris Paul got hurt. Dating all the way back to the Clippers. Do you remember when he broke his hand? And then ever since he like broke his hand, it was always something every year.
You can only take so many coincidences in a row before it's no longer a coincidence. Before it's like, oh, maybe it's a long season.
Yeah.
Like
In the last 5 years, he's played 60 or more games once.
Yeah, jeez. And the fact
1
that
year.
like the Warriors last year, I was never gonna admit it. I was gonna say we could win a ring, but like the fact that we took the Lakers to 7, I would
For real.
Ready? So we took the Lakers 7. Then the next series they played Denver, obviously, and I was at a bar with one of my buddies who coaches at NNU down here, and I go, he goes, "What do you think? Like 6 games?" I go, "Oh no, dude, 5 if the Lakers are lucky." He goes, "You don't know ball. You don't know ball." And I said, "Oh God, okay." And then they get swept, and I put in the group chat, I was like, "I don't know ball. I don't know ball." And it's just like it's not a stat thing. Like with basketball, it's just like you can feel it. Like you're just
You
like
can feel it.
Like
Yes.
there's no reason we should have taken you to 7 if you're a contender. Like we are half the team that we could have been. Like it just didn't feel like we were gonna win. I thought we were gonna lose in 5 or 6.
100%.
And I was like, damn, these guys are just not like the talent on the roster and how it's put together. It's the thing with LeBron is he's ball dominant. So you can't put another ball dominant player on the team as LeBron and expect it to work out to the best of its capability.
Well, we've seen that some of the superstars he's played with, it didn't work. Like Isaiah Thomas when he was on that team, it didn't work. It didn't work. Like it didn't work. That's why they trade all these people in and out, because the Russ thing didn't work. Because someone has to have the ball, and we all know who it's going to be.
Yeah.
Can Russ work in that? No, he was set up for failure the whole time. And then Russ is a guy like need to get your touches to get going. He can't like really get going too often off of one shot like a Clay. Like Russ needs to get a couple layups to the hoop, hit a midi, then he might start hitting threes. But if he's not right,
style.
Yeah.
Like Russ, you have to recognize he's ball dominant. Like,
exactly.
I cannot put around him 3 other dudes that want the ball for 10 seconds of the shot clock. It's just not going to work. Like with LeBron, you see it every year he's won. And Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh are kind of an exception. But Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh filled their role really well. Like they didn't. Like Dwayne Wade wasn't ball dominant. He was the best shot blocking shooting guard in history. Like he played defense. He went to like it just worked out. Like you saw Dwayne Wade in Cleveland, and it wasn't the same because Dwayne Wade wasn't the same. He wasn't a shooter. He couldn't move anymore. He couldn't slash like he used to. And like when you're that old and that good, you would tend to run an offense. Like he went back to Miami, he ran the offense. Like everything kind of went through Dwayne Wade. And LeBron's just one of those people. He's gonna be best with 3 shooters and a great big man.
Chris Bosh, Kevin Love, Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Zydrunas Ilgauskas, he was cold.
Big Z.
Drew Gooden.
But Hunt,
I hate when people say LeBron had no help in that.
Dude, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. Hunt says they're going back to back. Lakers are going back to back. No shot. No shot.
Back first round exits.
Yeah, back to back first round exits. Exactly. And like, look, great team. I just don't see it happening. I really like Rui. I really like Austin Reeves. I like D'Lo, but like this is who the scapegoat's going to be. It's going to be D'Lo and the role players. It's not going to be LeBron's. It's not going to be Anthony Davis's. It's going to be D'Lo. They already started painting that picture last year in the playoffs, and he did have a bad series, but he was playing good in the series before those too. I'm pretty sure he helped seal a series against the Warriors. Wasn't he hitting against you guys? Like or maybe it was.
Damn. Anthony Davis remembered he was 7'2". Like that's what damned us. Is he played like a big man? And I was like, if Anthony Davis, who doesn't play like that, like how often do we see Anthony Davis?
Recently, New Orleans Anthony Davis played like that.
Yeah. How often do we see Anthony Davis shoot a 15-footer with a smaller guy on it? Like it's like that series, he was playing like Anthony Davis should play, or else we probably would have won. Like Anthony Davis won them that series. And then proceeded to shit the bed the next series, which I was like, that's great. That's perfect. That's exactly how you would think it would go for us. But I just don't see Anthony Davis being, and when he plays big, like I made a bet with someone. I was like, I bet you Anthony Davis doesn't go the whole series without getting injured when they played the Nuggets. And he did. He played every game, but he rolled his ankle. And I was like, oh, there you go. Hurt. No chance now. Like you can't count on him.
Yeah.
And even when you
can't hold that personally against him though. He can't help it.
Yeah, you can't help it, but
I'm accounting for it.
I know he catches slander for it, but like you can't help being hurt.
No, and it's not his fault. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if I'm trying to win games and I'm putting together a team, just like Chris Paul, just like honestly Steph Curry until he proved his ankle was better, you say, oh well, these guys have chronic injuries that reappear. And for certain guys, they reappear often about 75 games into the season.
Bro, it's kind of to the point, like, I'll go to Chris Paul, for example. Like, with Chris Paul, it was like, when is it going to happen?
Yeah.
Anthony Davis, we don't hate him, man. We're just saying, like, it just happens. Like, it's been happening a lot. There's a reason why people on Twitter or X now are always talking about like making memes of him on the ground because he's always on the ground hurt. And like I had him in fantasy basketball, bro. And the guy he's out a lot and it screws you over because you're like, when he plays, he does so well. But like, that's the thing when he plays, because he's going to have that one big injury to where he's out for 15 games, couple weeks.
Like, the best ability is availability.
I like that a lot.
That's the truth. Like Zion,
yeah.
I wouldn't pay Zion a dime.
What do you think he does this year? What do you think he does this year?
Gets hurt.
Plays half a season.
Gets hurt.
Like he's like Bo Jackson. There's some people that are freaks of nature, and being a freak of nature is not always good. If Bo Jackson was not Bo Jackson, do you know how hard it is to pull your hip out of your fucking socket?
Oh, dude.
Most people can't do that if they tried. That's what ended his career, is because he was so strong. He ripped through all the cartilage and tendons and ripped his hip out of it.
Dude, Zion ripped through a fucking Nike shoe, and we've never seen that before.
Derrick Rose, I mean, Jean Morant, I'm praying it doesn't happen to. But those guys that are freaks of nature, like, you can be a freak of nature. Your body is still a human body. It can only take so much before something gives. And that's like the problem with these ADs, the 7'2" that moves like a 6'4" guard, like Zion. He could be 30 pounds overweight and still touch 12 feet on a vertical. It's like your body can't do that forever. Like,
dude, the impact on the joints, on the tendons, ligaments. I bet you. I'm no doctor.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Heff.
He's barely 23 years old and we're already having this conversation, which it sucks.
He's a kid. He's younger than us, and we're not hating. It's just like,
no, I'm just saying it's crazy that like we've seen this before with dudes, and he's just so young, so we can only sit here and project.
Yeah.
And what does that tell us then? Like, think about that. Think about that real quick. I feel like that's happening so much now within our generation. It wasn't really like that before. Like, you had some dudes in sports like Bo Jackson stop playing because he had to retire because of his hip. You know, Greg Oden with the foot and stuff. Like, it was
Alton Johnson.
Yeah, there was like dudes that it happened to sometimes, but now it's happening a lot. Like think of Zion, think of AD. AD's a little older than us.
Yeah.
He's not much older, you know? Like what is it now that's different than what it used to be?
It's like that quote where it's like the human limit is only like where the imagination ends. And it's like you saw a guy like Michael Jordan, and now all of a sudden they're like, oh, you can do that. That's possible. It's not everyone. Like you're telling me there's many people, like find me a dunker or find me a dunk contest where not one dunker is someone that Vince Carter would out jump. But do they have better dunks than Vince Carter? Yeah. Nowadays. Because like the 360 windmill is like common. You see it in games.
Right.
Paul George did it in game. But it's like they don't have higher vertical than Vince Carter. It's just that they've seen it's possible. Their imagination stretches. They're like, oh, I can do that. Like
So what is it like why today though? Like why are guys getting more hurt today than they used
because
to?
They're pushing that imagination.
They're pushing the imagination. But
Morant on Derrick Rose. And he's like, oh shit, you can do that at 6'3". I didn't think that was possible. And now he tries to dunk on everyone. Look at it. If you go to the tape and see how many dunks he misses, you're like, Joe, you probably lay that up, get the 2 points.
Yeah.
But it's like
Josh trying to kill people.
Yeah, but I can do that. And then one day, God forbid, I really don't want this to happen. I love watching Ja. But I mean, when you jump, it's the stretch shortening, which is just like, what would you call it? The flexibility of your ligament, the elasticity of your ligament. So whenever you jump, those explosive people, it's not muscle. It's your ligament getting tense and then poof, snapping and propelling you up.
But like you even look in the NFL of like shoulder injuries, hamstrings. Are players like not more soft, but is like organizations and people holding people out longer than they need to be compared to like 20 years ago? Tape that sucker up and get out there. You know, because like I'm seeing a lot more hammies being pulled. Is it the sports science? What I was trying to see if you're going to say is like, is it sports science? Is sports science like, maybe it's advanced in some ways, but there's some big gaps in terms of how the human body's reacting to some of these workouts. And that's where we're seeing big injuries. You think that could be part of it?
It's a dangerous topic to talk about. But like when you think of, if you look at, and this is weird, we're going to take like a biological side route here. But if you look at Neanderthals and early Homo sapiens, injured all the time. I'm serious. Look it up on YouTube. Bob Proctor talks about it. They're injured all the time. You can't afford not to go hunting though.
Right.
And through the generations, your bodies adapt. Like that's what happens. And like when you kind of mix that, like, I'll call it a warrior lifestyle with like the science and caution of today, you're kind of stuck in the middle. And so when you're explosive, but like they're like, oh, take it easy, like save it for the game. It's like, no, because your body's not ready for it then.
Facts.
Like if you're hammer your body, you need to and rest is important and recovery is important.
Oh, yep.
But your body adapts to what you do. And if you only do this once a week, your body's not going to be able to do it for forever. But if you're a hard dude, like your body will adapt. Like you see these football players, like Aaron Rodgers thinks he's going to come back on a torn Achilles. It's like, that's crazy. And in one season, he's going to come back. I think it's because he plays a more physical sport. A basketball player would be out for the season.
Or maybe during the recovery, he's not. Maybe he's on it a little earlier, so it starts to get stronger in some other ways, like get creative. You know, because I was thinking now with Aaron Rodgers, I was like, how could he come back? I think Shaikh, I don't know if Shaikh's watching, but he tore his stuff, and he was back in less than a year playing in our open gyms. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? But like, is it a point? Yeah, go ahead, man. Is it a point where like maybe there's something creative you can do to get Aaron on the Achilles, strengthening it? Because like, for example, I tore my hip and I had my hip surgery and stuff, right? Yeah. My PT stressed like we want to make sure your flexibility is there first. We can still do small things to strengthen you, but like once that flexibility is there, we want to start kind of hitting it hard. Same with my shoulder.
Did you ever hear him say elastic? Oh, probably not. Flexible. Yeah.
Well, like what I'm saying is here is like when they saw fit, they wanted to start strengthening it as quick as possible.
Yeah.
You know, and stay consistent with it all the time. So with the Achilles with Aaron Rodgers, I wonder what it is, like that they have this big secret that, you know, he comes
said
back.
He's doing physical therapy for 5 hours a day. And it's like
water.
Like, it's
well,
not,
he has the resources.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I can't like give you like I could be wrong. I'm sure I am wrong on some of these points, but like if you asked an average physical therapist, oh, I tore my Achilles, should I be working on that 5 hours a day? They probably like, no.
Right.
But it's like, yes, you should like get your body to understand that whether hurt or not, that is going to be active. And your body will compensate to an extent. Like obviously there is a place for what we know now and like, but like I feel like with sports, you're kind of caught in the middle of like being careful, like the caution of the days now and the grit of like, you have to anyway from like back in the day. Like, I mean, there's so many different things you can reference for people that like being hurt doesn't, coal miners in the 20s, you're hurt, well, you're not getting paid. You go to work. Like it's like everything. Like,
yeah,
I feel like what you show your body is what it'll respond.
Well, like the UFC, dog, like there's a reason, like Tommy talked about it kind of when he was on the pod, like you're going those rounds because that's the only way to do it. Like Sean Strickland, who just beat Israel Adesanya, and he was such a big underdog to win that fight, and he won with flying colors, and all he does all camp is spar, full spars, hitting. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, but it's weird to see the dudes like the Zions, the D Roses, like these super athletic dudes, and we kind of think like, dang, like,
yeah.
Because you said it about Ja, and I think everyone said it or thought it, maybe not said it, but like it's like
you jump from the free throw line every game 3 times a game. It's like I hope you do that a lot, and then I hope you take recovery and rest seriously because that's the thing that I think is unconditional. Like our recovery, our knowledge of how to do that and rest is like so important. But I think we overvalue laying off. And like you guys know with anything, you don't do it enough, you're not as good at it. It's the same thing for your body.
Heff, are we seeing more Tommy Johns today?
Yeah, I think the reason we saw a lot of starting pitchers this year hurt, but a big part of that was because of the World Baseball Classic. These dudes are pitching at full speed an extra 5-10 games. They don't get their normal spring training workload that they would to get revved up, and so they're kind of put into a spot that they're not familiar with. So they got to rev up their workload a lot quicker. I mean, the Astros alone had 2 guys that went down with Tommy John this year.
I'm seeing even position players get it more too, you know, like it's interesting. And I mean, the Tommy John,
it ain't no joke, man.
I feel like it's more occurring. And so I wonder, like, for me, it's like, I know sports science, and we need to get my dude on here. He's the athletic trainer for, not athletic trainer. Who?
Daho, the guy from UP.
JF Daho and his bro.
I follow him. He's good.
For sure. But I also have an old teammate too, Jeremiah Welch. He's the Las Vegas Aces.
Oh, that's right.
Like strength and conditioning coach. And so I just want to like learn like what is this new wave of strength and conditioning, and what's the outcome and goals you're trying to achieve, and are there any gaps you think you see? Like, I might bring this exact conversation up because it makes me wonder, you know, because like back in the day, dudes might be bigger today in some aspects, but like dudes have always been big. Like Karl Malone still played a lot of games, You know what I mean? Shaq still played a lot of games, and you can't tell me they weren't explosive. They weren't big and strong. Charles Barkley, same thing. Like, what is it? What is it? You know what I mean? And a big problem of it, and the NBA is addressing it, is rest. I agree with you on that part. Like, how can you be ready to play and your body ready to play this long schedule when, you know, you're resting a lot? It's like a marathon runner. You're not going to make it out of a marathon, you know, unscathed by any means, but you can prepare yourself for it. So instead of maybe running on a broken foot at the end, you know, a couple of sprained toes or something, you know, like, you know what I mean? It's tough because recovery. So if I went out and played a full day of basketball on Saturday, Sunday I would be very sore.
Yeah.
But if I constantly did that, in about 3-4 months, the next Sunday I'll be completely fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like that. And
you know, the decision I think you make is that you either play to severity or to like a compromise.
yeah.
So like if you do what like I have kind of been talking about and like you take it hard, you're gonna lose some guys. Like some guys are not gonna be able to do that. But the thing is, like, if you do kind of what we're doing now, like where you compromise and you kind of take it easy in between, then you're gonna have guys that probably could have done it that are gonna play 50 games a season because they aren't conditioning their body. But the guys that we would have lost, just cranking them 5 days a week, they're gonna be able to play also 50 to 60 games.
Pause.
So it kind of keeps those guys in that probably wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah.
But I feel like you're either picking like real severe, like it's
Yeah.
a little too much, or you meet in the middle and you kind of sacrifice a little bit of both.
Yeah. Interesting, man. Very interesting. I don't know. I don't know how we ended up on this topic, but we went down a rabbit hole, and that's cool. That's cool, man. Heff, y'all, the Astros made it in by the skin of their teeth.
Dude, I was sweating that out that last weekend. There's a lot of beef going on Twitter about it right now. So the same night that the Astros clinched, the Rangers clinched, but a division championship wasn't decided, and so the Astros, they had like a glass of champagne and did like a little toast. And there's a video of the Rangers, like, you know, the stereotypical like popping bottles and beer baths and everything. And so
You could tell they haven't been there in a while.
Yeah. And so next day, the Astros, they win 8-1. But if Texas were to win, they clinch, and Texas goes and loses 1-0 to Seattle. So the Houston beat writer, he's like, oh, it looks like the Astros been there, done that before mentality has paid off. And oh, dude, it has got Twitter all sorts of bothered right now. It is. It's funny, but yeah, literally, I was sitting in my living room. I had the Astros game on the TV, and I was listening to the Rangers game simultaneously, trying to see who was going to win that division. And I mean, it worked out for Texas because they won today, so they're playing against the Orioles in the division series. Looks like Arizona, they won last night. They're up right now, so they're probably going to be moving on.
Yep, that's dope. It's cool, Klesh. I bet, like, being in Arizona and feeling that vibe of like the local teams making the push to the playoffs, because like everybody gets around it. And I noticed it with the Broncos last year until they ended up sucking about like 3 games in. And then definitely the Nuggets and the Avalanche. Like they might not watch a single game all year, but it's the local team and they're just going to get behind it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. We're pretty touristy. Like a lot of even people that live in Arizona only live here October through like May.
Yeah.
So like it's like you don't see as many diehard fans as you'd expect, but like obviously if you're in it, everyone's all of a sudden a huge Diamondbacks or Cardinals or whatever fan. Like
yeah,
they'll ride. Like the games at Chase Field, we
Yeah.
went packed.
yeah.
And
Dude, Chase Field's dope.
It's sick. I like Chase Field.
It's
Dude,
dope.
that would be so fun to go to a game there, go swimming.
Saw Ronald.
Dude, yeah.
Jack one out of the park.
Oh,
Sick
you
every-
watched Acuna?
Yeah, we watched the Braves.
Dude, did he just hit a bomb? Did he steal a base too?
No, I don't think he stole a base, but he hit a bomb.
What does he have? He's the first player ever
First
to go
40-70.
40 home runs, 70 steals.
Dude, he said it at the beginning. It was the year after COVID, 2021, I think. He was hurt last year, but he said he wants to be the first 50-50 guy. And he's talking 60-60. I mean, he's got the power. He's obviously got the speed. So,
He has the best card on MLB The Show.
Dude, he's special. That's the thing that sucks most about baseball, though, is like we see these rookies come up and these young guys. And young guy, like we were talking about Zion, we're like, holy shit, dude's only 23. Well, like Acuna, he's already 25, 26. Just the way that the MLB works and coming up through the levels, they're a little bit older than these other rookies that we're used to seeing in other sports. And
Yeah.
you have to come up through the system, but at the same time, it sucks because we get robbed of longer careers from these guys.
Yeah. Baseball's a different beast when it like coming up, man. Like you got A, double A, triple A, like Pioneer League for a while there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. MLB playoffs, this is like the best time, dude. Like this is the best time of the year.
Oh,
Because like basketball is about to start, college and NBA, NFL, NCAA football, all in full swing, and baseball's at the prime of its year. Because like it doesn't just start in the playoffs; it starts maybe a month away when things are starting to get tight, and you're starting to pay attention. Who's going to make those wild card spots? Who's going to clinch the series? Because you could be all the way until the very end. You could be division leader and get that automatic bid in. And if you slip up the last week, you might not make the playoffs, dog. Like, look at the Mariners.
no, dude.
Like, look at the
I saw
Mariners,
something. The
bro.
Astros led the division 24 days all year, and they won the division the last day.
Like, I don't know another sport it's like that. Like, NBA, kind of. But, like, at the end, it's like, it's kind of clear cut who's making it, who's. The bubble makes it a little more interesting. NFL, NCAA. I'd say NCAA football is the closest because if you are Ohio State, Michigan, and you're playing each other last game of the season, you're both undefeated, the loser's not making it to the playoffs, and they could have won it. Same with like some of those Alabama teams that got upset like end of the year, middle of the year.
The one thing I want to say about that is, though, college football, you got to remember, it's got the human element. It's got the playoff committee.
Yeah.
These other ones, it's based on record. College football,
Yeah.
you got
that committee, man.
People.
Yeah. Hey, Gideon wants us to give him a good parlay to put together. What would we put together? When you looking for it, Gideon? Thanks for the first time chat.
We don't
Bears
give
money line.
betting advice.
DJ Moore, 4+ receptions.
Oh, God.
And what was the other thing? I did a parlay. It's gonna hit. And then
Tomorrow?
Justin Fields over 200 yards.
DJ Moore, what?
4 receptions.
Okay.
It's plus 1,152 odds.
That's because look at who his quarterback
So,
is.
4+ receptions with Justin Fields, 280 total yards.
I put over 225 yards. You could do over
All
200
yards? Total yards? Total?
yards. Passing yards. And then I put Bears money line. If you put Commanders money
Who
line.
they play? Oh.
Huh?
I would.
He said, he said he needed the Commanders.
Oh.
Let's do it. Give him a college football one for Saturday. Let's look here.
I don't give betting advice.
Hef, you got to. He's asking for the advice. We're not gonna.
Hey.
But Hef, the ones I was asking you for were like 14-leg parlays, dog. They were like.
I'm just not gonna be liable for anything, is what it is.
Yes, you are, Hef.
And it's illegal in the state of Montana, so
No, it's not.
unless you're doing it through the state, yes, it is.
You could. My bookie works in Montana.
Probably not legally. The only legal avenue to do it is Sportsbet Montana.
Really? NCAA football? Don't promote betting? Says Hunt.
I told you, dude, it's illegal in Montana.
I'm not in Montana. They don't know where you're at, dog.
You've said it like 4 times on here.
So you think that they're gonna come to your home because you told someone what spread to put down?
No, because I'm not taking that risk.
Okay. Hey, I respect it. I don't think they would go that deep. Let me look here.
You have to remember I work for the state, though, too.
That's true. Okay.
I got to keep a clean slate.
Heff is not a part of this. This is just me. Okay. I would go.
Are we talking money lines or are there prop bets?
Heff, hypothetically, say you were in Denver right now.
Same game parlay, Gideon. Same game parlay. Hit the Texas.
Fuck. There's 2 games on right now, and I had no idea.
Hit the Oklahoma spread plus 6.5. You think Oklahoma's going to lose by more than 6, Heff? Actually, go hit Texas spread minus 6.5. Let's see here. First half. Whoa, what's going on?
So
what's going on?
For multi-game parlay?
Yeah.
Ooh. There's some crazy spreads out there.
Go Texas. Like I said, Gideon, we're going to go same game parlay. Oh, should we just do spreads? Okay, just hit Texas, starting it fresh. Just hit Texas. Money line. Then we're going to go Wazoo spread plus 3. And then Missouri spread plus 5.5. Throw those together. See how it rides.
See how it rides. We are not held liable for any financial damages.
We are not held liable. We're just trying our best.
Yeah.
Let me see if there's anything else. If you want to get real risky with it, Gideon, I would go Rutgers plus 13 spread. I would go Rutgers plus 13. If you want to get risky. Honestly, take Texas out of that and go those last 3. I think you could go Wazoo plus 3, Missouri plus 5.5, Rutgers plus 13. Just a 3-legger. Hammer it. Let us know. We'll post it to the pod, win or lose. Send me a screenshot, Gideon. Send me a screenshot, and I'm gonna say this was our betting advice. Let's see if it hits. And Saturday night.
No, it's not advice. It's not advice.
It's not. No. Not betting advice. That is such a bad way to put it, Jake. It is not betting advice.
What we would do if we were betting.
It is.
Yeah.
If you were betting. Yeah. I'm just terrible with wording stuff.
What we would do if we were putting together a parlay.
Yeah, what we would do.
Mm-hmm.
What we would do.
Mm-hmm.
We just think it's nice. I'm broke. I can't bet, so I'm not doing it.
You know what sucks is that money I have on what the hell was it? DraftKings that I got in Nashville. I can't withdraw it since I'm literally in a state that it doesn't allow access to.
Yeah, that's
can't take
tough.
my money out.
I could always log into your account down here and put it into your account.
No, it'll just be good when I travel again. I'll have some walking around money to just throw on some other ones. I was fiending, dude. I always told myself I would never sports bet. The minute I landed in Nashville, LaFontaine's got me on my freaking free bet. Just ripping them, dude.
Dude, it's exhilarating. It's exhilarating.
The first time we were there, we were at that Dogwood bar, and I would literally sit there and we're watching it was Golden State and Sacramento, and I was like, oh shit, the next point or next method of scoring is going to be a 3.
Yep,
I'm
yep.
doing this in real time, dude. I felt sick to my stomach.
Dude, we were all doing it. And then the funny thing is, Sid, she doesn't mind if I do it every now and then. But when she sees like $20, $20, $20, the DraftKings, she's like, Jake, what are you doing? And it's me just live betting Steph to hit the next 3. Because if it hits, it's nice.
Dude, it's fun. It's
It's fun. It was fun. And it was Christian and Tim and myself. We went to Warriors Nuggets down here, and that's when I first started that.
Christian's phone died, didn't it?
I won like $500 that night. Just like sitting there, I'd put 25 on a Steph 3, and it would hit, and I'd go, and people started booing me. I was like, "Oh, I'm not a Warriors fan. I'm just winning money." Like, like it was exhilarating. It was crazy. But yeah, man, 2K, dude. Klesh and I played 2K earlier today, and that game is getting worse and worse and worse.
Did Matt
every day
tell
it
you
gets out.
what happened
Every day
last
it's out.
night?
No.
Oh, I didn't.
No.
Oh my god. Okay. So here's what happens. I'm loading and I'm the 4. Hunt's the 3. Klesh is the 1. So it's a 2 and a 5 that they just randomly load in. As soon as he wins tip, just burns through every single timeout. I thought it was the other team, but it was our guys. Just burn through the timeouts, and they just start playing buddy ball right away. I go in game chat, dude. You know how I get. I get a little reckless. I get on this guy. All he said back is, "Should have made a big man."
Oh
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Dude,
So they
no,
went
it
in
was-
there with every intention of being fucking
guys.
sons of
Yeah.
guns.
And I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but I was fighting for my damn life with my power forward. I think I ended it with like 14 or 15 rebounds. I did all right. But as soon as I would get the ball, I'd give it to one of my teammates, and he was just not. He would just give it to the freaking 2 dudes, which ended in a rage quit and a ban.
Stop giving it to him.
Hunt was doing it. It was Hunt.
3 times in a row. He said, "What are we doing, Hunt? Whose team are you on?" He said,
Fight for my
"I'm
fucking
quitting."
life. You guys
He says he's quitting.
Quit. Isn't the party? We get done with the game. He goes, "Oh, I'm banned."
Bro, but like, what's wrong with the game? Like this shooting thing, I get it. I appreciate like this doesn't seem like a skill gap thing. It seems like they're not letting you shoot more than like 50%. Like if I have an 83, it's not going to let me shoot even 40. It's going to make me shoot like 30.
I've seen my numbers fluctuate a ton. I was shooting like 60% from 3. And then I go all the way down to right around 38, 40%. Then I have really good games and it gets me up to 50. And then I just freaking tank, dude, and I don't get it.
Dude.
Because usually you can tell if it's a good release or not. You can tell if it's early or late. And this year, we're
not dumb.
Dark.
We've played this game forever. Like I know when my jump shot feels good or not. And I'm able to take a little give here and there. But like some of these shots that aren't going, I'm like, my release is perfect, bro. Like I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. And then now when my big guy is in the paint, I go from a full bar to like, then it shrinks to nothing at the very end. It's like,
your green window disappears.
Like why? Like why?
Dude,
I know
it too much. They just listen to all the toxic players because those are the guys that go on because like the first 2 weeks, it was great. Like I love the game. Like they did
last year.
Yeah, like they nerfed the hook, which I get on board with that.
Yes,
but they just touch too much and like the first month it's always really good and then they just play to all the dudes who just want to dribble around a screen for 20 seconds at the shot clock. And
dude, I'm saying, man, and like the ones who can always do the step, like I get it. Like reward those guys, but don't punish me for being wide open. Like, because at that point, I've played the game so much. I know my jump shot. Okay, I know when to release it. But when it's getting to a point where I'm going 0 for like 6 from 3, wide open, strictly off of slightly earlys, slightly late. You got like, what is it?
Yeah.
Like that's the game choosing it. I'm just not going to give it to you.
I think you make the green window harder to get to and give us a little more slack on slightlies. Like let like slightlies go in 30% of the time.
No.
I think
Every
so.
shot
I think you make it
slightly.
harder to green and just give a little buffer on slightlies.
Or you could just do greens or miss like it is, and then widen the green window slightly.
Make
So
it a
your
true skill gap, bro.
Your slightlies would still be green if you make a bigger green window.
Make it a true skill gap. There's a green window. The higher your rating is, the bigger your window is. Okay?
Hey,
the higher your ball handle is, the higher the window is on dribble moves into a 3. Okay? Make it a skill gap in that sense. But you can always get to it. If you're good enough, you can always get to it. But if it's a hard closeout, whatever. Okay? I've never complained. Like when I shoot and someone's super close to me, I never complain that I should have made the shot because I know I was 50% contested. Keep that. But it's these wide open ones, dog. Like where it's like, that's not a skill gap. If I'm a 50% 3-point shooter, obviously I'm not going to make it. But when you're in the 80s, even in the 70s, but like some of our dudes are in the 90s and they're missing wide opens. And it was like, what do we need to do?
Yeah.
What do we got to do? I'm putting too much money in this, man.
Yeah. And the frustrating part is
too much money in the game for this, man.
And then slightly late, and then slightly early, and then slightly late, and you're like, I'm obviously adjusting.
Then you take it to the rim. You got a full bar, and then last second it goes to nothing.
Yeah, or you try going baseline and you get pushed out of bounds every single time, even with 94 strength.
The out of bounds is ridiculous this year.
And
I purposefully made my power forward have 77 ball handle and 94 strength so I could beat guys baseline, and I still just get pushed out of bounds every single time. And there's nothing more frustrating because there's nothing you can do about it.
And the dudes that
And
are
I still
killing,
do it.
the dudes that are killing that have like the high ass ball handle and speed with ball and the high 3-pointer and nothing else, and maybe some speed and nothing else, speed and stamina. Those are the dudes who are killing. For real. Like, those are the dudes who are able to, like, it's like, oh. Like, I get it. We want it to be realistic, but it's still a video game.
Uh-huh.
It's still a video game.
That's
like,
right.
And I'm losing to a bunch of these freaking nerds who've never played ball before, but they're just good at exploiting the fucking game. Sorry for cussing. I need to stop cussing.
No, you don't. Fuck them kids. Respectfully.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do? We're at that age, like, what can we even play anymore, bro? I can't even go play Fortnite casually. I can't hop on COD casually anymore. Like, Apex.
Casual gaming is dead, man.
Bro, Christian and I played MLB on Saturday or Sunday, dog. And Rocket League, I'm so bad at Rocket League, though. But we played MLB, and we were hitting. It was just every double we hit, the other team hit a home run. And it was just like, we're just trying to play.
I do appreciate that they have a skill system, so you're getting matched with dudes within your same ability.
MLB does it right. Outlier's a problem. Don't get me wrong. Outlier's a problem.
Outlier needs to go away, dude.
Yeah.
Or at least give it to like your chase pack players that are very hard to obtain. You got to spend hundreds of thousands of stubs or get extremely lucky.
Nerf it, not a whole bunch, but like nerf it like 10%. Like just a little bit. I feel like it's just a little too untouchable. Just a little. Yeah. Like I can get to it sometimes, but like there's times where it's like, look, I get it. Nolan Ryan was a dominant pitcher, but people were still allowed to hit off of Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People still hit Nolan Ryan. He had an ERA.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't 0.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, like it seems like they make the game for people with $2,000 PCs that can process 103-mile-an-hour pitches. Like I come home and I play on a PS5 on a TV. I can't see in 103-mile-an-hour pitch from Shohei Ohtani. Like I'm guessing. Like I don't like. is not like I challenge any of the people in that office to come hit that fastball on my side.
For real, because you're probably running like 30 frames per second when they're running 120.
Yeah, it's
You
like
know?
come hit that pitch on a setup that 90% of your players play on. You
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Like you can't.
Yeah. What did y'all see about that? Did y'all see the comet that's hitting Earth in 150 years? And they're trying to figure out a way to stop it.
I say let it fucking hit.
I saw that they're trying to have houses built on the moon by 2040.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
I've also seen a lot recently about how landing on the moon was fake. It's kind of all over the blog, at least on my TikTok.
Dude, TikTok. I tell Sid this all the time. You get a lot of information from TikTok, but you get even more misinformation off of TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok, TikTok is a place for conspiracy people to go fucking crazy.
Hey, at the absolute
and
worst,
I'm a conspiracy guy.
It gets you thinking at the very least.
Yeah, for real. Because like when you look at it, like there's the race with Russia, so we wanted to picture that we were the first ones there to win that, and like there's a lot of things that go into it for sure. But I think some of those conversations go into the flat earther type stuff, and like,
but it's also kind of weird is they said we can't get back to the moon now because the technology no longer exists. How have we advanced 50, 60 years with what we have available to us and the technology doesn't exist? Make that make sense.
Well, anything about the freaking government or governmental agencies or whatever the words to say it, none of their stuff they do makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
I got a question for you guys. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like okay, so who's smarter? Let's say, for example, can either of you, if a speedboat was to break down, could you fix it?
No.
No, okay, so let's say you get a speedboat and a master, like let's say an indigenous tribe person, someone who doesn't have access to the internet or any like information that we have access to, has a raft. And your challenge is to cross the ocean. First one across wins. And your speedboat's not getting across the ocean without breaking down. So in that circumstance, you being someone with way more knowledge, general broad knowledge, you can tell me way more fun facts than that person.
Yeah.
But who is, and this is like kind of not the best example, but you'll get the point. Who's smarter?
Obviously the dude in the
Like
boat,
in general,
because it's stable. Like it's going to be able to constantly go.
So here's the point of it.
Well, okay, so who's smarter? It's kind of like book smart versus street smart type of situation. Those tribal people, they're smart in their own ways in terms of how to survive. They don't need to worry about literature. They need to worry about the basic stuff, and they mastered it. We're smarter because we've had a lot of information in our hands, like just fed to us right away, and we didn't have to worry about those primal things.
Smart, because here's the question is, who's smarter, someone with more knowledge or more ability to apply the knowledge they have?
More ability.
I can tell you that dolphins
say more ability for sure.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
More ability for sure.
And us to the moon with the technology worse than a BlackBerry.
Yeah, I want to say more ability. I would say the person with more ability, but the person like us, for example, I think we have more potential to be smarter.
Yeah, capability. Yeah,
more capability to be smarter.
You know what I compare it to? Opening up your iPhone pictures and having 1,000 pictures that you don't want, but you're just too lazy to delete.
I delete my photos all the time.
I delete the ones I don't need.
I take unnecessary screenshots all the time, and I have to clean it out. Yeah. It's 100 every week.
Yeah. To me, that's just like, how much can you, if you can't apply knowledge, is it worth having?
Shoot, that's a great question. That is a very good
So
question.
that's where it's like, okay, maybe they know less, but they could like
They'll get more bang for their buck.
Yeah, the indigenous people could survive in probably any climate, and even if not, they'd have a lot better chance than us.
Well, bro, you got to think we might, like, at some point, let's say this comet does hit.
Yeah.
And they're only saying it's 25 nukes, and they said if you're within a 600-mile, if you're within a 600-mile radius, that's like the danger zone. But yeah, but they said it's not Earth-ending, whatever. But like, let's say something like that happened, and it was a worldwide scale, and we had to go back to our primal like ways because everything's destroyed. And
There'd
there's
be no feminism.
That's crazy.
Shots fired for our lady viewers. We support you, ladies. But, you know, that's a point for a different time. Maybe when we have Matt on again, we'll kind of get into it. But
no, we won't.
Maybe we're not going to get into it.
We won't.
Hey, I love ladies.
We love feminism.
I don't love feminism. I love ladies. I love women.
But primal society and civilization, do you think we can get back? Do you think eventually we're either all going to die out, or do you think we'll have to get back to that? Because something's going to happen to us at some point. Something's going to happen to us at some point. Like Yellowstone's going to blow up at some point. Might not be in our lifetime. Something's going to happen. And I feel like...
Did you hear about the Pythagorean theorem?
Yes, I saw that.
Listen, to think that the progress we've made in human existence that what would you say allegedly has been hundreds of thousands of years only happened in the last 7,000 years is ignorant.
Facts.
It's
what
ignorant.
was it? They found it like 1,000 years before Pythagoras or whatever his name is.
Yeah. And it's
like,
they said it might be the first case of plagiarism, and like I haven't looked into it. I just saw something about it, so I'm not gonna like sit here and say that's
cancel him.
Yeah, cancel, dude. There's nothing to cancel. I'm not famous. No one gives a fuck.
No,
about
not
me.
cancel you. Cancel Pythagoras or whatever his name is. You made me suffer in math, and it was all freaking plagiarized, dog.
Yeah.
Talk about a contradiction.
But there are things you can see that make it obvious, like the pyramids.
You're the reason I'm a social worker and not a math major.
Yeah, dude, that'd be awesome.
That'd be terrible.
You know how much, like, if I had to wake up every day and do calculus, I'd throw myself off the bridge with a dried up river. Like, there'd be no chance. But, like, you see examples of things that we can't, like the pyramids are an obvious one. Like, do you know how, like, say you were to build a ramp. I saw this. This was on Joe Rogan, so a lot of people have probably seen this. But to get those stones, if you were to drag them through a ramp, it would have to be a 10-degree ramp because of the weight of the stones. That ramp would have to be so ridiculously long, you'd starve before you reach the end of the ramp.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't bring enough resources to drag that stone to the end of the ramp and put it on top of the pyramid. And that's just one stone.
No, exactly, man. And so we might have to, like, who knows?
Yeah.
If we had to go back, because I was listening to a shout out Joe Rogan in his podcast, but a dude was talking and he was like, some things people don't realize is like, if something like that were to happen, and it got my mind going, think of all the resources we wouldn't have. Imagine if you're a diabetic and you can't get insulin. How many people are going to die off just because they can't get their meds?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not just, we'll be worried about food, but like there's going to be a lot of people who die just because they don't have an inhaler.
Natural selection.
You know what I mean? And like,
it's blunt and it sucks, but natural selection, you won't always have the privilege of avoiding it. You won't. Like,
that's why I didn't go swimming too deep in the ocean when I was in the Bahamas, dog, because I know there's a shark out there, and who wins?
Neanderthals? Natural selection.
Heff, what are you doing? Let's say everything's wiped out. Middle of winter. You're alive. You and your wife are alive with your dog. What is your first move?
We're dying. Let's be honest.
Are we in Montana?
In Montana. What is your first move?
Praying it's May.
Going south? Going somewhere warm?
How are you gonna get there though?
Gotta walk.
Heel Toe Express, man, the only way. First you would have to build up a supply of like food and water and resources. But as soon as that happens, man, you're not lasting in the winter in Montana with nothing. You got to start going somewhere warm.
No, you need experience to last in the winter in Montana. I don't care how much you know.
Because like if you're going south, you're going basically from Helena to Butte, and then from Butte to like Wyoming or Idaho, and that's still snowy. It's not gonna get super sunny until you hit Colorado or like New Mexico or Utah or something.
No, but how long is it gonna take you to get down there? A month or two? How long does winter last when it's super cold? 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, dude.
You have to kill an animal.
You'd have to get out first, but before you can get out, you got to have the energy, and to have the energy, you got to gather food and water.
Steal a bike.
I feel like if you had the winter supplies in terms of like the boots, the gear to keep you warm, and like some kind of shelter in terms of like sleeping bags, like you have military sleeping bags. If you had those to like get by, I think you could make it work. Because at a certain point, I feel like you know enough to make a fire. You start to get good at it because of practice, but like,
or you just don't let it go out once you get it.
Because the people like, did you guys see that video in New York where there's like a whole town underneath New York? Like there was like a gym, there were like bunks, and like it was in a crack. It was like a crack, and like.
Oh yes, I was a whole civilization down there.
I feel like those are all over the place, dog. Partly because of the Cold War, or maybe like people know things that are gonna happen. But like,
dude, that shit was deluxe.
There's one out here too. I've heard like somewhere out here, no one really knows until it's time to know. Like,
yeah.
But imagine this scenario: you're going down, but they say you can't keep your dog. He needs to go. What do?
Go with my dog.
Yeah.
I ain't leave my dog behind. Fuck that.
For real. I'd die out there with my dog.
Yeah. What Kona I'd leave behind.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man.
No, she's just a brat.
Yep.
But
let's see. Go ahead. I'm just seeing how many viewers we have because I said if we got 15 in here simultaneously, we were going to do a giveaway.
The best spot would be like Boise, honestly, because it never gets below 40 in the winter and it never gets above 100.
I'm going to Nashville if I had to.
Oh, you want some chicken down in Nashville, baby.
No. It doesn't get like blistering hot.
It's humid.
As normal as it does. It is, but it's not like Texas. It's not like Florida.
No.
It's tolerable.
That Florida humidity is terrible, dog.
Dude, I don't know. Just I feel like Nashville would be a nice spot, or like North Carolina. I've done research on what the most like stable climate is in the United States, and it's North Carolina.
Resources though too. There's not a lot of hunting in Tennessee compared to like if you go to Boise, you just go north.
Dude, Tennessee's got a ton of wildlife.
They got deer. Hey, I'm going somewhere with a river system and some mountains.
North Carolina, man, in the Appalachian Mountains.
It's a long trek.
You give love a bad name.
Takes you a year and a half to get there, and it's you could build yourself a nice little life out in North Carolina, man.
Yep.
Do we think we'd survive if this happened?
I'd like to think I would be able to. I'm not saying I would or not, but I like to think
I would like to say I got a shot. Because my first thing, I'm scavenging. If it's on a like, I'm gonna go find there. I know there's stores in the area. There has to be some stuff left over somewhere. There's Amazon depots way up the way. Like, you gotta go find something. You gotta get creative on how you're gonna find a resource. You create a base to start. It could be wherever, like. It could be in a car. It could be depending on what the landscape and everything looks like. Then from there, I feel like if it's winter, dude, I'm trying to get a 4-wheeler. I'm trying to get like something like that, you know, or a big truck. Like, who knows how you would get it.
Yeah.
Try and hoard a bunch of gas. And I wouldn't carry a lot with me.
You gotta think though, everybody's got the same mindset.
But there's not a lot of people are alive, dog. They all died. It's just you.
Okay. Fair,
And
fair.
even if they do, like say you have the keys to your car, how many people can actually hotwire a car anyway?
I don't know, man.
One out of every 50.
But I wouldn't carry much with me. I'd carry the essentials with me. And then, like, let's say I'd carry a little food. I'm just going to wait to look for food to the next spot.
Let's say it happens
Worst
in
case,
May.
I'm fishing.
Let's say it happens in May, so you have all summer to prepare before a nasty winter. What's your
now that I'm thinking of this more, the first thing I'm doing, if there's very little people left, I'm going to a fucking dealership and I'm getting the biggest motorhome I can. And I'm going to go get the biggest trailer I can and hook it up to the back of it. Because a motorhome, dude, you got all the essentials you need. And if you hook a trailer up to the back, bro, you can put a bunch of equipment in the back. You can put supplies. You can put all your resources in there.
Let's say the major road systems are clogged.
Yeah.
Broken.
Razor. Get a Razor with the trailer.
Yeah. Get a couple. Like D drives one, you drive one.
Yeah.
You know.
Or just get a high-powered pickup.
Bro, I would have to go to I would think of Northern California. You know, it has mountains, it has water.
That'd be a good spot too.
How are you putting gas in the car? Because with no people,
you'd got to find it.
Gas stations, you'd have to really find your own gas.
Siphon, dog. Do something.
You could siphon.
Or you could find electric shit.
Go to a gas station and go to the underground tanks where it's all stored.
See, I wouldn't know how to do that. I'd honestly just rock a bike.
Yeah, but if you're trying to
I would get a bunch of batteries and batteries that charged from the sun so I could leave them out all day and plug those into an electric sort of vehicle.
Yeah.
But you better hope you not get a flat. That's the stuff I'm chalked, dog.
First thing I'm doing is making friends.
No, fuck that. I'm staying far away from anybody.
Yeah, dude. People would get weird. People would get weird. They'd try and kill you.
You have to be because you know what you can trust people to always follow? Their self-interest. So as long as you can provide a benefit to their self-interest,
true.
You say, listen,
until that's gone. What happens when that's gone?
No, I'm finding a little nerd, and I'm gonna say, listen, I'll go hunt and get us food if you work on getting this house to use solar energy for our air conditioning.
You little dweeb.
Yeah, and he'll be like, yeah. Sounds good. I'm good at that. I can do that. I can't hunt, dude. I got beat up.
Yeah, you got to find a team full of strengths that can benefit each other.
You find someone who would die without you, and you utilize their talent.
I'm still taking my motor home.
They can't kill you. And obviously, I would take caution, but it's you got
Did y'all watch The Last of Us? Y'all watch that?
Oh, yes.
It's kind of like that. I feel like it would be you'd have to kind of bounce around and people, I think that I think that's one of those things they put in front of our face. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Hey, Delia did say that she thinks Matt would get eaten by a cannibal day 10.
Dude, there's no doubt. I'd try to eat a poison berry. Like that.
Dude, the last one coming out soon, I think, too.
I could see me nailing it. The first month, I find a good group, we all benefit. Losing one of us would be detrimental, so we're all good, we're all safe. And then I wander, and I'm like, oh, dude, raspberry, and it's just straight.
Just can't fight the temptation.
Yeah, just boom, and dead.
Oh, look at that mushroom. Boom.
Yeah,
just gone.
That would be me. I don't like mushrooms, so it couldn't be that. Oh, dude, I'm too picky of an eater to go through an apocalypse. They'd be like, we have onions.
Didn't your grandpa say we were going, something like that's happening?
A super, a religious Christian. He studied the Bible, and he thinks that, if you're Christian, he thinks that Jesus is coming back in his lifetime, and he's got maybe a decade, if that. And he's pretty smart. I know, I understand.
No, he's a smart dude.
Yeah, I understand how someone with not similar beliefs could think it's far-fetched, but even people like that, like, you talk to my grandpa, he's not like a shove it down your throat kind of guy.
No.
And everything he says, he has good reason to believe. He's a smart dude. Yeah.
No. Yeah, he said something like that to us back like 10 years ago. I was over for Stu, and he said something like, he's just like, we're seeing it, or like it's gonna happen in my lifetime. We're out there watching the Mariners play or something, and I was just like, it makes you think, because like you look at a lot of the things that are going around and happening in society right now, like the Bible and like the Quran and a lot of other like scriptures and religions kind of talk about the things we're seeing, and it's kind of crazy to think about, because
like the Euphrates and the Nile drying up.
Like, yeah, like a
That's
lot of
crazy.
things, like they're happening. It's like, oh, makes you think, because like we live a very luxurious and privileged life right now, but like
We're back.
a Yellowstone or like a meteor or like we're literally just kind of chilling out here, and like anything can happen. Like we've built a society up for me to sit in here, and I can control the temperature in my apartment. If it's cold out, I'll make it hot. If it's warm out, I'll make it cold. Like I cheat making my food because I don't need to make a fire. I have a stove. Like I have a microwave. But like that could be taken away so quick.
We don't have a ton of applicable knowledge nowadays.
Like, it's crazy to think about, man. Who knows? I was curious what y'all would do.
Dude, probably die. Like, honestly, like, if I had no morality, I'd probably be okay. But like, I couldn't cheat someone out of their life.
I feel like you'd have to make compromises though to survive. You'd have to compromise some things.
I think you have to make sacrifices. So like, I don't think you have to compromise your morality, but I think if you don't, your chances. Because obviously, right? Like, I think there are certain things that help. Like, if you're a really big dude, you're probably better off. But if you're like a slow guy, I think it's circumstantial. Like, it depends on where you are. Do you have help? Do you have friends? Do you have any resources?
Yeah. Interesting, man. Interesting topic. But yes, chat, we did not get the 15 people in here. We were going to do Amazon gift card giveaway, but we only have 5, but we can build it up. I know Tommy Gun McMillan's fighting soon, and he's selling some shirts right now. So we might be giving away a Tommy Gun shirt if we're going to put out a price of what we want. Not like literally a price, but like an incentive, we shall say. And we might be giving away a Tommy Gun shirt, but we need the incentive made. And maybe we got to see what we could do to get one signed from him. I don't know. We got to talk to him. Get something signed, and we're not going to auction it, but we'll do a giveaway. But the thing is we want to do cool stuff like this, but we need people not only in the chat, but we need people just like helping us out, retweet our tweets, share our posts, just like getting us out there. Because I feel like we're dope. I really do. I feel like we're going to get there. I know we're going to get there. But we just need, the viewers to help push us and get our stuff out there, because we want to do these cool things, the giveaways and stuff. But,
the shirt will be signed. I'll go drive to his house.
Yeah, Klesh is down there with them.
But, there you go.
But I think we're just going to stop it right here, fellas. It was a good talk. We talked about a lot of good stuff.
That was fun.
We're about 2 hours in. I'm hungry. I need to go eat some dinner. I got work in the morning, got a presentation. But Matt, we appreciate you coming on, dog. We look forward to having you on more. But good convo. Some good engagement in here. Heff, thank you as always. But yes, y'all, we want to do some giveaways and stuff, but we need the incentives. We're not just going to give stuff away. Like we're trying to build up, and we think that's a cool way to build our following. And letting y'all know that we rock with you guys and we appreciate you at the same time,
That's right.
So
Keep coming by. Don't miss the stream.
Yeah.
It's 15 viewers.
Keep coming
Don't
by,
miss it.
man. Keep coming by and keep pushing our stuff, and we won't forget you. We promise you that. We won't forget you, and we'll make sure to reward you some way or another. But we're gonna end it. We appreciate y'all. Klesh, thank you. Heff, rocking it. We'll see you next
Catch us
week.
next time we dismantle feminism. I'm just
All
joking.
right, there it is.
I'm just joking.